Hello, everybody. See, there's a few people waiting. If you guys could write down in the chat if you could hear me and see me all right. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. I know I'm a few minutes early, so I'm just gonna kind of hang out with you guys for a few minutes, make sure everything's working all right, and then we'll get started right at noon. Well, it's noon for me, so right in 5 minutes we'll get started. Hi, Emily. All right. So where are you guys from? I'm from Florida. I'm in Orlando right now, so it's like super duper hot. And how's everybody doing in quarantine? What's everyone's favorite quarantine activity so far? Mine is definitely probably binge watching just YouTube videos. I bet it's hot in Arizona. And you guys have that dry heat. We have the humidity. My one of my managers was just recently in Arizona, and she said dry heat is just painful. She wasn't used to not having any humidity. Hi, Leslie from Florida. Where from Florida are you from? All right, just a few more minutes. 4 more minutes. Coral Springs, okay. Yes, I have also been blessed to still have some work as well. Outside of doing this, I work in a blow-dry bar in Orlando, so I'm also a hairstylist on top of this, but otherwise I am kind of just staying home and chilling out. I'm a bit of a hermit anyways, so quarantine worked out pretty all right for me. Let's see, who else? Coral Springs isn't that far. Miss Monica is from New York City, South Carolina, Indiana. Awesome. If you guys are just logging in, we're dropping where we're from up in the chat. Again, I'm from O-Town, Orlando, Florida, home of Disney World. You guys want to know something really funny? I've lived in Florida my entire life, and Orlando, I'm going on year 2 now, and I have never been to Disney World or Universal. New Jersey, that's where my dad's from. Miss Jen is from Phoenix. Awesome. I love getting people from all around the country. It's so interesting. Buffalo, New York. All right, another Phoenix. Okay, Leslie asked if I've been to Busch Gardens. Yes, I have been to Busch Gardens because that one's in Tampa and that's the cheap one. Let's see. All right, please address 50 plus combo skin in each and every step. Girl, we're going to be going all over all different kinds of skin types. Sacramento, California, some more Florida people, Maryland. Yeah, I think Busch Gardens still counts. So haven't been to Disney World or anything, but it's ironic. I really hate roller coasters anyways. So I always went to Busch Gardens to see all the animals. Houston, Texas. My mom used to live there. Pittsburgh. All right, we just got 2 more minutes to go. All right, what other questions can I ask? What's everyone's favorite show that they've been watching, I would say during quarantine, but you know, just in general. I need some new shows to watch. Abu Dhabi? Oh my gosh. The Office, yes. Girl, Schitt's Creek. My boyfriend and I just started watching that. We cannot get enough. The scene where David and his mom are trying to fold in the cheese. Just fold it, David. Drives me nuts. The Witcher, Sarah. My boyfriend is obsessed with that show. Antwerp, Belgium. Wow. We got people from everywhere. All right, we got one more minute to go, and then we can get all started. Binge watching everything now that I have time. Girl, same. If you guys like spooky stuff, there's a girl on YouTube named Bailey Sarian that does her makeup while she tells like true crime stories. And then Robert Welsh is another person on YouTube that will do his makeup and tell ghost stories that you submit at the same time. I watch those all day long. Epcot is the best, especially if you don't like roller coasters. Well, fun fact, everybody, I'm about to give you in on my age. I turn 21 tomorrow, so I can't wait to do the drink around the world at Epcot. All right, guys. Well, it is 12 on the clock for me. So why don't we get started? Sound good? Everybody ready? Give me some comments down in the chat. Yeah, thank you. The girl that does the scary stories and doing her makeup on YouTube is Bailey Sarian. Murder, mystery, and makeup. All right. Let's get started, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to be learning a little bit about how to get your makeup to look flawless and stay flawless all day in the heat and the humidity if you're from the South like I am. So it's really easy. Some of the steps are a little bit weird. So if you have a little like notebook next to you or, you know, like the notes on your phone or something to write down some steps so you can remember later on, that'd be awesome. But this video is being recorded so that, yes, and not melt off like a candle. We don't want our makeup melting off like a candle. But this video is being recorded and it is going to be posted on MAKIAGE's YouTube channel later on, so you guys can reference back. And you guys can go ahead and subscribe to their channel and press the little bell icon. That'll give you notifications when they upload a new video, so you guys don't miss any more free classes, because it's free content to learn from, so why not? All right, so another wonderful thing before we get started, you guys are gonna get a really awesome opportunity so from the list of products that I have, which after this class is over, you guys are gonna be sent a link with my like product list from Il Makiage. And for joining today, you guys get to see, you guys are gonna get to see like my whole list, and you can choose 1 to 3 products to do a try before you buy trial. So you guys can choose, you know, a couple of different products that you're interested in trying, and you get to try them out risk-free and free in general for 14 days. All you have to do is pay shipping, which is $5, I believe. And if you don't love it, you send it back and it's free. You know, no problems. You're not going to get charged until that 14-day cap is up. All right, good morning, everyone. I see some more people are joining. Cool, all right. Well, why don't we get started? Okay, so first things first. Good morning, Eileen from California. You're a far ways away from me. You're up at 8 a.m. to do this? The dedication, I appreciate it. All right, so before you even go in with your makeup, we got to take care of our skin, right? And before putting on makeup for heat, I like to encourage people, especially if you're super oily, not to put on any, you know, heavy products, like very heavy moisturizers or anything like that. I actually have very, very dry skin, but in the heat, it's going to make your makeup melt off regardless of what kind of skin you have. So I just like to prep my skin with a good SPF, because we always got to protect our skin from the sun. Y'all see what color I am, so I really need to be protected from the sun. So I already have a little bit of that on, and then I just like to start with a really light serum, you know, things in little like dropper bottles that are more water-based. Because if you have anything like a really thick moisturizer on your skin, especially if you're oily, it can make your makeup slide around and melt off sooner than later, and nobody wants that. So I'm just gonna put a really light layer of just, you guys saw how watery that was, just enough to give me a little hydration, but not so much to make my skin slick, you know? And when you have serums, it's best if you tap them in like this. Give yourself a little facial massage. This will drain all the nasty crap that we get in our sinuses here too, if you give yourself a little tap in the morning. All right, bam, good. So now we're gonna go ahead and start on with our makeup products, all right? This is where the steps can get a little funky, so feel free to ask questions, but remember, this video is gonna be posted later on, so you guys can go back and do it along with me again until, you know, you're comfortable with remembering everything. So first things first, you wanna start out with a primer that's suited for your skin type, right? So the wonderful thing about this guy, this is the MAKIAGE No Filter Primer. This one fits pretty much all skin types. It's oil controlling, but also hydrating at the same time, and it smooths your skin. It sort of like can help fill in fine lines and pores, so it gives you a little bit of what we call a filter, so you don't have as much to cover up with foundation later on. So this will help in blocking oil and sweat and stuff from coming underneath your makeup, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and take just one pump of that. You guys can see I have little pea-sized amount on my finger, right? Warm it up between my hands. And you want to put this on your whole entire face. I'm gonna start in the center of my face, and what I like to do is just very gently glide it all on, but any places that you have some texture, like pores especially, which a lot of us will get around the nose area, instead of just smearing it around, take your fingers and you wanna pat and roll it into your skin to help smooth everything out a little more. And you barely need any, just enough to cover your whole face in a very, very light layer. Not as much as you would put on, you know, like moisturizer at night or anything like that. And it feels nice and silky and smooth. And this is something that on no makeup days, you can just wear this by itself to help control oil and stuff like that and be out the door. It gives you just enough fine tuning, and that can be it. All right, so we have our primer, step one, right? Now we're gonna get a little bit weird. So instead of going straight in with our liquid foundation, which you see most people do on, you know, like YouTube or social media, we're actually going to use a little bit of setting powder before our foundation, and I'll tell you why this works, okay? So the reason that I'm gonna put setting powder on beforehand is because anytime, you know, makeup starts to break up, it's usually from oils and sweat coming underneath your makeup. A lot of people on social media will say, oh my gosh, I'm so oily, I need to put on all this powder on top and all this setting spray on top of my makeup, when the real culprit is coming from underneath the makeup. So I kind of describe this as almost as putting dry shampoo on your face. So we're going to control oils underneath our makeup before it comes through and ruins our foundation, instead of just piling more stuff on top that's gonna crease all over the place at the end of the day. Because in this instance, less is more, because the less makeup you have on your face, the less of a chance that it's going to move around because it's just not there. So step one, we already did primer. Step two, powder. So what I'm using is Il Makiage's translucent loose powder. I like to use a loose powder for this step because it's a little bit lighter in texture, and again, we want something really light on the face. And this stuff is great since it's translucent. It works for pretty much all skin tones, and it looks great in photographs. It doesn't give you, you know, like a white cast or anything, as long as you're using it very light-handedly. So I'm gonna tap a little baby bit into the cap, and let's see if you guys can see it. It looks kind of white, but you can see how little I put in there. You actually can't even see it. So I'm going to take, this is a Real Techniques blush brush actually, but I'm gonna use this for powder, just something nice and fluffy. Swirl it around in there, tap off the excess. You can barely even see it on my brush at all. And in the places that you get oily or sweat a lot, or your makeup starts to come off a lot, you want to tap this in that whole area. Now, which is usually the T-zone. You know, you get oily on your nose and your forehead and chin. But if you really just want your makeup to last all day long, like you're going to the beach or something like that, just do your whole face. But really gently. You guys can see how it kind of mattified my face a little bit. You don't see a lot of shine. All right. And you can tell that you're already good when you feel it. Talissa asked, is that loose powder good for a makeup-less face as well? Sometimes I'm oily without any makeup on. Yes, you can 100% do this. I mean, if I get up really close to the camera, I mean, other than my eyebrows and my eyes that I already did, you can't even see anything on my face at all, but this can control oil all day long. If you don't, you know, feel like wearing makeup, you can just slap on a little bit of primer and then some powder and walk on out. All right. So we've done our primer, loose powder, step 1 and 2. Step 3, setting spray. This is going to be your best friend. We're going to use this a whole lot today, so I'm going to keep this right next to me, right? Again, a lot of people will just use setting spray as like almost like a sealer at the end, you know, like your clear sealer spray paint to try and keep everything in at the end. But this stuff is great because you can use it in between layers. Well, I mean, any setting spray in general is going to be more beneficial to use it in between layers of makeup because you're getting those good sticky ingredients that keep makeup on your face, but in between all your layers instead of just on top. When again, our usual problem is having oils and stuff coming from underneath our makeup, nothing coming from the outside where we need all these layers on top. So I'm going to go in with a good spritz of setting spray. Refreshing though. That is probably the best feeling. All right, let's see. Stephanie asked, does the powder have a white cast on darker skin tones? No, it doesn't, as long as you use it with a really light hand. Translucent powder of any brand is something that you never really want to, you know how people will take a sponge and bake and put a lot of powder underneath their eyes or anything like that. You just want to use a brush with very little bit and just dust it over, okay? So let's see. I usually break out with setting sprays. Thoughts? Interesting. You might be using setting sprays with a lot of alcohols in them that can really irritate your skin. So make sure you read the ingredients on the back of setting sprays. And if like isopropyl alcohol or denatured alcohol is in like the first 10 ingredients, bye. I wouldn't use it. All right. Oh, I love how you guys are helping each other out in the comments here. That's so sweet. Okay, so we've done our first 3 steps, and this is what's going to help us the most. We have primer, we have our powder, and then we have our setting spray. Now we're going to go ahead and start doing our makeup like usual, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go in with my MAKIAGE Woke Up Like This foundation. I'm in the shade 20, so very, very light. This foundation is really awesome because the whole foundation line has 50 shades, which is really amazing. And I was really impressed because I have a weird sort of undertone. Usually you think fair people have quite cool undertones. I thought that my whole life, and I was putting on all these pink foundations and I looked like a little cherry tomato because I was so pink. And I actually found out that I'm very fair with warm undertones. And this is the first time that a foundation really matched me like right off the bat. And from what I found, this has been like a godsend for medium to deeper skinned people to find good foundations with good undertones for themselves. So it can be really scary to find a new foundation online, but with this guy, I mean, first of all, the Power Match quiz that you guys take to find your foundation match is like, I want to say it's like 97% accurate or something like that. And it's been tested on millions and millions of people. But if it doesn't match you or you don't like it, you get to try it risk-free for 14 days without paying. And if you don't like it, you can return it and get a new shade or call it that at the end of the day. So this foundation is, we describe it as like medium to full coverage, but it's kind of like a you do you situation. It's totally buildable, so it can be a natural light coverage, which I really like because I have lots and lots of freckles that I like to show through my foundation. But if you like that really beat glam full coverage, you can build it up and get that. And you can get different kinds of coverages on different days. So it's like having 4 foundations in one bottle. So I'm just gonna take like 2 pumps of this just on the back of my hand, right? Less is more when it comes to heat. And I am going to be using the MAKIAGE 100 brush. This brush was designed to be used with this foundation. They're best friends and they work really well together. I usually don't have a preference in tools, like whether I use a sponge or a brush or my hands, because they all do different things. It's not one is better than the other because they all just do different things for you and it's whatever works the best for you. But I find that a brush does work best with this foundation to get a good coverage and, you know, make it buildable and blendable and everything. So Sodan says, I have a lot of acne scars and a lot of potholes. Oh, don't call them that. I'm looking for a smooth finish. This smoothing primer, the no filter poreless base smoothing primer, is going to be your best friend. That's what this is made for. It's made to smooth in, you know, pores and texture and stuff like that to help give you a more smooth finish before you even go putting your foundation on. So I would definitely look into this guy. Okay, so I have my 2 pumps of foundation on the back of my hand. Look at how well that even matches my hand. Can you guys tell that I like don't go in the sun because everything is very light? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my foundation brush, and you can dot it all over your face or you can go straight in with your brush. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna load up my foundation brush, and before I even go on my face, I'm gonna take my setting spray and give it 1 spritz. So we're going to infuse this foundation with the good stuff in this setting spray to make it last even longer. Chelsea, oh, we have the same name, except mine ends with an A. Chelsea asked, you put the foundation on the back of your hand? Yep, not directly on the brush. I don't usually like putting it directly on the brush so I can pick up as much as I want at a time. It's a little more controlled. All right, so I have foundation and a spritz of setting spray on my brush, right? So start where your problem areas are. So for most people, you're gonna get redness in the middle of your face, maybe darkness around your mouth, right? Some people, hormonal breakouts out here. Start where you want to cover the most, because we don't need to put wall paint, like house paint, on our whole face. You need to cover what you need and then blend it out from there. You know, do a little wash everywhere, but get the coverage where you need it first. Not necessarily a whole crap ton of it everywhere, because that's where you get the problem with it bunching up and melting in the heat and, you know, mixing in with your other products during the day. So I'm going to start in the center of my face because I know I have great lighting, but I'm red right here. And what I like to do is tap. Now, I know there's no rules to makeup and there's no right and wrong, but since we have this base that we've started with our primer and our powder and our setting spray and stuff, we don't want to agitate that by taking our brush and going and mixing it in with the foundation or anything like that, right? So tapping is going to get you the best coverage. See, look at the match though. This almost looks like I'm not putting anything on my face. I'm trying to put it on kind of heavy so you guys can see what I'm doing, but like, it looks like nothing's really happening. Oh, you can kind of see the difference. You can see some of my freckles going away. But remember, I'm going for a little bit of a lighter coverage. So see, I'm tapping and patting it everywhere, right? All right, and so another fun fact about this foundation, well, not about this foundation, I guess another cool tip that you can use if you're dry like me, this foundation is like a I think we call it like a semi or demi matte. So it's not super matte, but it's not super glowy. It's right in between to give you a really natural finish. If you're really dry like me and matte sort of foundations look a little bit too dull on you, if that makes sense, like they just, you know, they don't really give your skin as much life, using the setting spray on your brush is going to help hydrate it a little bit. But what I like to do is take, remember that serum I used at the beginning, some serum, a facial oil, or even your favorite moisturizer, and mix a little dot of that into your foundation. Girl, it'll be Glow City, and you'll still have the really awesome benefits of this foundation where it lasts long, it gives you coverage, but it's a little bit more hydrating and a little bit more flexible on the skin. And even if you maybe just get dry in the winter months and you don't want to have to buy another foundation, just switch it around during the year. You know, put more moisturizer in it in the winter when you get a little bit more dry, a little less in the summer when you're more oily. Tracy asked, what if you're oily? I have a tip for that. You can mix a little bit of translucent powder into your foundation for more oil control. So I would put, you know, your pumps on the back of your hand, or if you have a little dish or something like that, and then take a little sprinkling, just a little bit of translucent powder, mix it up together, because that powder is going to be infused into your foundation. So it's gonna, just like dry shampoo, it's gonna suck up that oil when it comes from underneath, right? What if you get more tan in the summer? Okay, Elizabeth, if you get tan in the summer, lucky for you. I don't do that, unfortunately. You can, it depends on how tan you get, but what I usually like to do is, instead of getting a whole different foundation shade, unless your skin tone is really, really different, like if you get super duper tan, you might need a different foundation shade, but I'll use the same one, and then I will warm my face up with some bronzer on the outer parts of my face to make it, you know, match to the neck and everything. I say my face, I mean like when I'm doing clients, because girl, I don't tan. All right. I'm beating around the bush. I have my foundation done. And see how I've avoided the under eyes, because we're just going to get that with concealer, okay? So with that, a little bit of that, you know, setting spray in it, we got a nice, you can see a little bit of glow going on. I have a really bright window over here next to me, so you can really see it on this side, right? All right, so we have our foundation done. Remember when I said setting spray is going to be your best friend? We're going to use it again. We're using it in between steps, right? So you get one step done, setting spray. Another step done, setting spray. And you can be kind of gentle, you know, just like one or two sprays in between. You don't need to totally like take a shower in it every time you use it. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and go in with concealer. I know this is another problem that people can have in the summer, is having their concealer creasing or anything like that. So I like to use a concealer that's a couple shades lighter than my skin tone. All right, close the children's ears. I'm using the MAKIAGE Fuck I'm Flawless concealer in the shade, I'm in the shade 2.5. So this is just a couple shades lighter than my foundation, right? Because as well as, you know, covering up dark circles, because this is usually the problem that we're all looking for, a solution for is dark circles. So we're going to cover, but we're also going to highlight and do a little bit of sculpting, if that makes sense. So we're going to do a 30-second eye lift, all right? Vida, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but she said, "You're amazing. I'm learning so many tips to help control oily skin." Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so if you go ahead when you're doing your makeup and you're looking directly in, you know, in the mirror in the bathroom, your vanity, whatever, find where the darkest part of your dark circle is. So for me, you can see it very obviously right here. And just take your concealer and kind of line that, right? Just think problem solving wise. Oh no, I see darkness here. I need to put something light. Use the noggin. So we're going to put a little bit here, and then on the outside of our eye, what I'm going to do is a little swipe upwards towards the temple. So it's like a little Nike swoosh, but cut in half, right? And you see how little product I'm using? Honestly, I probably could have used less. All right. Shadow asks, does it help conceal your bags? One under eye is harder to conceal than the other. Yes, I've had that problem before. You can actually see it on me now. This one was darker than this guy, and I have no idea why that happens. Maybe because I sleep more on one side than the other. I have no idea, but this is going to help a whole lot. This is how I do my concealer every day. So this is going to help us because as you can see where I place this, it's a little low, right? It's not coming all the way up under here where you usually get a whole crap ton of creasing, because what we normally see, a lot of people, maybe on YouTube per se, do is go right up underneath their eye and put this whole huge, humongous triangle of concealer that you definitely do not need at the end of the day, okay? We're trying to use as little as possible to get away with it, and I'll show you the difference, okay? So normally my favorite tool to blend out concealer is my finger, but I have super stupid long nails right now. So what I like to do, especially on clients, so I don't have to use my hands right now, is to use an eyeshadow blending brush. These things are amazing for blending out concealer. So this is the MAKIAGE 202 Duo Fiber Blending Brush. So usually you would use this for your eyeshadow and your crease, but I'm going to use it for my concealer. So tapping motions, even if you're using your finger again, tapping motions. Using your finger is even better, honestly, because unlike a tool, like a sponge or a brush, your skin isn't going to soak up product, so you're going to have to use even less. FYI, dark circles occur because of broken capillaries under the skin. In this area, the skin is very thin. Thank you for that tip. I know that the skin is really thin there, but I didn't know it was because of broken capillaries. That's really interesting. That's good to know. Maybe I should stop sleeping on my face then. All right, so you guys can see, if I block the light out from here, how nice and bright my under eye is. And from that little flick we've had on the outer corner, it sort of lifts your eye up this way and gives you a little bit of an eye lift, right? So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, okay? Darkest part of my dark circle, line it up, boop, 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 boop. Little check mark on the outer corner. And go ahead. See, I even used a little too much. And blend that out. This concealer is awesome because the texture allows it to go really far, if that makes sense. It blends out really far. It's a nice thin texture, but you get really good coverage from it. So it's not like cakey, you know, it's not really, really thick or anything like that. So it blends out really far. You need even less. Now I look like I've had a full night of sleep when I totally have not. There we go. All right, so from here, what we're going to do is go back to our best friend, translucent powder, okay? And I'm gonna tap a little bit more out in the lid, just a teeny tiny little bit, and take a nice fluffy brush again. And we're gonna set everything we need. Catherine, how did you get the little dab emoji? I love that. He's so cute. Sonia asks, so does this work well for older skin as well? My dark circles are bad. Yours looks really good. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate it. But I will tell you, I do makeup on clients of all ages, skin tones, you know, men and women outside of this. And that's actually the concealer technique that I do use on more mature women to help avoid, you know, really prominent texture at the end of the day, you know, because the less is more, and not putting it right up under your eyelashes under here where, I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, all of us have creases there, is going to help a lot by using the least you can, but placing it in a really specific area, a really, like, there's a reason why you're putting it there. There's a word I'm looking for and I can't find it, but that's going to help you out. Okay. Translucent powder. Sorry, I got off track. We're going to pat this in the areas that you get oily or sweaty or anything like that. I usually try to say just stick to your T-zone and maybe a little bit under your eyes. But again, if it's real hot and you want to try it out, do the whole face, girlfriend. But just very lightly. And see, this powder doesn't have any color to it, so it's not adding any cakiness or anything like that. And you'll know that you're good if you gently touch your skin, and it'll feel kind of like velvet, feel velvety. You won't feel any wet foundation or wet concealer. That's how you know you're safe for the rest of the day, right? And now that everything's set down, right? Setting spray again. Another awesome thing that you can do with this setting spray when it's hot out is to keep it in the fridge. So when you take it out and spray it everywhere, I'll even spray it on my chest when I'm getting ready, and it just feels so nice because it's nice and cooling. All right. Shadow said, since you like oils, try Rosehip Oil because it hydrates and helps against free radicals and sun damage. Girl, you read my mind. I love Rosehip Oil. I had a whole entire container of it, like a whole dropper of it, and I ran out. I need to get more. So if you have any suggestions on a brand to use or something, I will 100% take them. Which, speaking of, I didn't even give you guys my my Instagram handle. If you ever have any other questions outside of this, like skincare or anything like that, or really any questions that you can think of, my Instagram handle is at Chelsea G Beauty. So it's just like my first name and my last initial. Thank you. MAKIAGE just dropped it in the chat. If you guys want to go ahead and follow me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you ever have. Last time I did a live, I had a ton of people follow me and start answering questions, and I had such a fun night responding to everyone. Or even just drop by and say hello and see my work. I would so totally appreciate it. All right, so now for the fun part. We've got our base all done, and now we can put a little bit of color on our face. Let's finish everything up, right? So I am going to go ahead in with some bronzer. So we can finish off with like a nice, you know, like a glowy, sort of summery, bronzy finish. I know I need some because I'm super pale. Elizabeth said, OMG. Putting the spray in the fridge is a genius idea. Yes, it is so refreshing, especially because this Il Makiage setting spray is made with cucumber water, I believe. So it smells like you're at a spa with the little cucumbers on your face, and you can kind of just like relax for 10 seconds. It's awesome. So I'm going to go in with these mineral baked bronzers, are my favorite, in the shade Wannabe. And I'm also going to use the Il Makiage 112 brush. This is the Duo Fiber multitasking brush, right? And I love these brushes because they're so, like, I guess bougie is the word. They're nice and heavy, and they really do their job. So I love these angled brushes. I'm going to use this a couple of times, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead, go in with my bronzer. If you can tell how much I've used it. This used to be a little dome. Not anymore. And I'm going to go ahead, get some bronzer up on my brush. And now this is almost a little bit similar to contouring. You can do a couple of different things. Some people like to use it, you know, underneath their cheekbone to sculpt a little bit. I like to use it kind of, meaning bronzer. I like to use bronzer where the sun usually hits. So it kind of looks like a natural tan or like sun-kissed glow, I suppose. And I love these bronzers because they're not super duper matte. They give you kind of like just a creamy natural finish. So I am going to use this angled side of my brush. Let me tap that off. I got a bit much, right? And instead of going back and forth like this brush makes it so easy. All you do is use the angle to your advantage and just swipe up, couple of times, right? And just build it up. I'm gonna need to grab a mirror in a second because this light is coming in so bright I almost can't see what I'm doing. Nope, we're getting bronzer on there. You just can't see it because the light is so bright. There she is. You guys tell me if you have difficulty seeing anything and I'll go close my blinds. All right, same thing under here. There we go. You can see it on this side where the light isn't hitting. All right, and if you ever make a mistake like I just did, right, and you accidentally put a little bit too much, you can 100% take your foundation brush. This is the 100 brush that I used earlier that still has a little product on it, and just tap, tap, tap over it. Shadow again asked, do you know any contour or bronzer that's like a taupe color? Yes. This wasn't going to be included in the video, but this is the contour that I use from MAKIAGE. So this is a bronzer. This is a mineral baked contour, because contour needs to be a little cooler, right? And you already know because you're asking. This is in the shade New Rules. It looks super duper light, but trust me, it doesn't go on that light. I was worried when I got this in the mail, but when I actually swatched it and tried it, it's really, really great for a little bit of lighter skin tones as a contour, and it's nice and cool toned, so it gives you like a realistic contour. All right, so we have our bronzer on our cheeks, and I keep putting too much, so I'm gonna go back with my foundation brush and tone that color down a bit, or even a brush that you have a little bit of powder on, something like that. So now we're going to go up on our temples because, you know, the sun hits up here as well, and dust some up here. A good way to remember, it's almost like you're making a big C shape on the side. C for Chelsea, a C shape on the side of your face, right? All right, this side, I really can't tell what I'm doing because the light is so bright and I'm so pale. Is there a bronzer quiz to see what is a good match for your skin? No, there is not, but you can ask me on Instagram and I will try my hardest. I'll stalk through your pictures and look. I really like the shade that I'm using, Wannabe, for obviously fairer skin tones, but if you're a little bit more like medium to deep in skin tone, they have a shade called Waka Waka that's really, really good. So I would try that one. Or even if you're fair and you just want something a little more dramatic and darker, shade Waka Waka is really good. All right, so let's see. Anywhere else we should put bronzer? Ooh, you know, sometimes I like to put a little bit right on my nose. Give me a little bit of a sun-kissed glow. And I like to take a little bit under my jawline as well, just for a little bit of sculpting. Leslie said Waka Waka is amazing, and you're right. Yes, it is. All right, cool. So now we got a cute little bronze look. And even if you wanted to, you can take your same bronzer, and I'm going to go back to that eyeshadow blending brush. So that 202 Duo Fiber brush. I have a towel in front of me, so I'm just wiping everything off. I know I already have some eye makeup done, but you can use your bronzer as an eyeshadow. So I'll put this in the crease of my eye, or even a little wash on the whole lid, just to give you some definition, and it perfectly matches everything else you're putting on the rest of your face. See? Gives you just a little bit of color and a little definition on the eye. So I'll put it in the crease and then a little bit right underneath my eyes. And it's like a nice, you know, sort of natural look. What I call snatchral, because it's natural but snatched. Bam, see, just a little bit more definition. I know I'm wearing some pretty dramatic eyeliner, so it's not as obvious, but very nice. All right, next step, blush. So this guy I unfortunately dropped earlier this morning and he broke a little bit, but I have everything over here so I can fix it later. So this is the Mineral Baked Blush, MAKIAGE's Mineral Baked Blush in the shade Toxic. I love this color. Can you guys tell? Because it matches my hair. And this shade is amazing on deeper skin tones, right? Shadow asked, how do you do your eyebrows? The color looks bomb. Follow me on Instagram and I'll tell you. Jasmine asked, don't you spray next? Girl, you caught me. Okay, so what I usually like to do is get all of my powder products on first. You can spray in between each one if you want, but I find it's a little more efficient, if it makes sense, if you just do your bronzer and your blush and everything. and then spray, because you'll just get it all together in one step instead of bronzer, spray, blush, spray, blah, spray. So I'll do all of my, like, what would you call them? Cheek products, I guess, at once, and then do a really good thorough spraying at the end. Good thing asking that. You caught me. I should have noticed that. So back in with our mineral baked blush in the shade Toxic. And these things are awesome because if I put it up here, you can see they have a little bit of glow in it. So if you're not a highlighter person, if you don't like super duper like see me from outer space glow, this would be awesome because it's kind of like a 2-in-1, but I like to be seen from outer space, so we're gonna do both. Jasmine said, I'm taking notes. I appreciate your dedication. All right. So I'm using that same brush that I used for my bronzer, right? That same 112 Duo Fiber Multitasking Brush. I just took my little towel that's down here that you can't see and wiped it off. And we're gonna do the same thing, except instead of having it angled this way, I'm gonna use the fat side of the brush. And instead of putting my blush right on the circle of my cheek here, you know how people will usually say smile and put it here? Well, look what happens when you smile and then you stop smiling. Where's my blush gonna go? So what I usually prefer to do that I think looks a little more, what's the word? A little, not forgiving. I'll think of the word in a second. But you can sculpt your face with blush as well. So if you look in the mirror and find your pupil, like the center of your eye, and draw an imaginary line down, apply your blush. Try this the next time you do your makeup. Apply your blush from there outwards towards your temples. This is going to lift your face up even more, because remember we did the lifting with the concealer trick? Now we can do it with blush. So I'm just gonna give myself a couple of good swipes. Looking down at my mirror over here, sorry. All right, and this is gonna sit right on top of my bronzer. I added a little too much, so I'm gonna blend it a little bit with my foundation brush. And see, we have a nice little flush, but it brings your face up a little more because we're applying it on the outer part. And if I move my cheek in the light, you can see we have a little bit of a nice natural glow here. I'll put a little bit on my nose too. I like to put blush on my nose because I think it looks cute. Okie doke. So now the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and go in with highlighter. So I am using Il Makiage's loose highlighter in the, mineral highlighter. It is a loose highlighter in the shade Satin. All right, so I'm gonna unscrew this, and this is a really pretty like champagne-y gold color, which I love using more golden tones on skin in the summer because again, it gives you that really sun-kissed look, but sometimes it's difficult to find golden tone highlighters for fair skin without them being too dark, but this one I feel works perfectly fine. So I'm gonna tap a little bit into the lid, just a little bit. I'm already getting it on my fingers. And I like to just use kind of like a big fluffy eyeshadow brush for highlighter, just something that you can be kind of precise with. Jasmine asked, does the highlighter need to match your skin? Yes and no. It doesn't need to, it's not like how you need to match a foundation powder to your skin, but if a highlighter is too dark per se, like if this was a really deep golden color or like a copper color and I put it on my cheek, it might look amazing from the side because the light is bouncing off of it, but when you look forward, you'll look like you have a little gray patch on the side of your cheek. Shadow asked, if I was to use a cream or liquid cheek tint, so a cream or liquid cheek product in between, what step would it be best when to use it? Okay, so I love liquid and like cream products. The best thing that you can do it in the same steps that I'm doing, the same exact, right when I put my blush, you do the same thing, but before you do it, so that, because I think we all know if you try and put liquid on top of a powder, it kind of sticks and looks patchy. use a good amount of setting spray and spray where you're about to put that cream or liquid product. You don't want it running off of your face, but you want to hydrate that product a little bit so you have enough time to pat on a cream product, and then it will all dry down together. So try doing that next time. All right, so I have my lid with my little teeny tiny amount of highlighter because this stuff is intense, and I'm just going to use one of these brushes. And what I found looks really nice, and this is not right or wrong, this is just something that I found that I like the way it looks. I learned this from Rihanna's makeup artist, and a lot of my clients like it. Instead of putting a stripe down your cheek, if I turn my head to the side, and you can see where the light is bouncing off of my face, right? You can see a little light underneath my brow bone here coming around this whole bone to my cheekbone. So I like to make a little C right here for my highlight because I love a good highlight underneath my brow bone. So I'll go like this, little C shape. Let's make sure I don't put too much. I'm looking down here at my mirror. Ooh, girl, that might have been too much. I don't think there's ever enough highlighter though. Same thing over here. Oh, thank you, Nettie. I love my hair too. It's a lot. I just did it the other day for you guys, so I didn't have super long roots. Now we have a nice little glow. All right. Other places you can highlight, so you have an overall dewy look. I like to do my chin, my Cupid's bow, that little dip right there. And this will make your lips look really pouty. Bam. Ooh, I love the highlight there. I like to do just the tip of my nose, especially when it's hot out, because if you get oily here and you highlight all the way down the bridge of your nose, by the end of the day, it might look a little bit like an oil slick because you have oils and highlight at the same time. So I'll just do like dink, dink, dink right on the tip. Oh God, that was too much. Go back with your foundation brush, guys. Messing up live is great because I get to teach you guys more tips. And then I take whatever's left on the brush, I didn't dip it back in, and just. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I'm so glad that I'm helping you out, especially my oily folks. If you guys try any of this out, please, please, please tag me on Instagram in your looks, or message them to me. Or if you have any other questions, you can 100% message me and I'll tell you. But I would love to see you guys like tag me in your stories or in some pictures on Instagram when you try this out for yourself. All right, and so I'm going to use the rest of this here. And remember how we used a little bit of bronzer up here? You can, again, use your highlighter as an eyeshadow. Ooh, someone's starting up their car. Sorry if you hear that. And I'm going to use this. I'm going to try and use this big old brush. I would definitely use a smaller brush, but I'm going to put this in the corner of my eye to brighten everything up. This is going to make you look like 10 times more awake if you didn't get enough sleep the night before. Don't use a brush as big as me. This was a dumb decision. And then you can take a little bit and finish off your eyes and put this right on your eyelid. And you basically have a whole eyeshadow look without even picking up an eyeshadow palette. Oh, you're learning makeup for your wedding just in case with everything going on. That makes me so happy. I actually specialize in bridal hair and makeup here in Orlando. So I hope everything goes well for your wedding. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. All right, guys. So we have our nice, beautiful, bronzy, glowy finish. Guess what we're gonna do? Setting spray. So this is where I go to town, right? What I like to do is like, you can just spray all over the place. Yes, Jasmine, now the spray. Now the spray. So a good way to make sure you get everything is if you do a plus sign and then an X. So plus sign, X. It's like your hair spraying your face for cheerleading, right? getting that off my lips. And I will I'm crazy. I'll go for more because this is going to hydrate all that powder and make it look very skin-like. And now I'm going to use the case for my iPad to fan my face. Oh, it's the best feeling in the world. If I could describe to you guys how hot it was in my house right now. And I usually work at a blow dry bar, so I have super hot air in my face all day long, and this is how I do my makeup to keep it on. Catherine just asked, will this help to keep the makeup on and not get it on other people, places, or things? Very good question. Yes, this will help. All of the steps that we did before are going to help even more so, but let's see if it works. Let me wipe my hands off. Usually I can actually, party trick, I can wipe my face and nothing will happen. Yep, all good. Everything's still there. And you see, I'm not being very nice to my face. Because I'm really good at getting makeup on my boyfriend's black sweaters. So this usually keeps it on. And yeah, I like to shove my setting spray in my bag and keep it with me for the rest of the day to sort of like refresh if I need to. If you want to keep a setting spray and a powder along with you if you get super duper oily. Maria just asked, could you do a recap of the steps? I'm just about to, and I'll go real slow so that you guys can write it down or take notes. But again, remember this video is going to be posted on YouTube in you know, a little bit. I'm going to say within the next few days so that you guys can come back and watch it again. So make sure that you subscribe to Il Makiage's channel and you click the little bell icon so that they notify you when they upload, okay? Did anyone else take an entire page of notes? Okay, actually, challenge. Tag me on Instagram. Take a picture of the notes that you took and tag me on Instagram in your stories because that's hilarious and I appreciate it. Marjorie just asked, I have a mister. Do you think it's a good idea to use setting spray instead of water to set? Yes, water isn't going to do you any good. Setting spray has a lot of sticky ingredients in it, like glycerin, for example, that's going to make your makeup kind of like fuse to your face. Water is going to do the opposite. So try your best to use a good setting spray, all right? So let's go through all of the steps that we did again, all right? Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. Okay, so before you put on makeup, prep your face with something really light, like a serum. No heavy moisturizers or anything. All right, let that sink in. Step number 1, primer. Il Makiage No Filter Primer, okay? Step number 2, Il Makiage Loose Translucent Powder. Very lightly, all right? Step 3, setting mist. I'm gonna keep this next to me. All right, step 4, go in with your foundation, build it up to the desired coverage that you would like. Guys, Jasmine is a godsend. She put down all of the steps. So if you guys want to copy and paste that, go ahead and do it, all right? So we're on foundation. What is this? Step 1, 2, 3. This is step 4, right? For me. Primer. SPF goes first before you put any makeup on. Some people use a specific just SPF, like just a regular sunscreen. Sometimes your SPF is built into your moisturizer, but that should go very first with your serum, okay? So we just did our foundation. Now our concealer, Fuck I'm Flawless concealer, right under the eyes. Setting spray. Again, do this in between all the steps that you can, okay? After that, oh wait, no, I'm messing up my own steps. Okay, we have our foundation and concealer on, then we're going back to a light dusting of the translucent powder to set everything in place. Setting spray again. Let that dry. And then I'm going to go ahead. I do all my cheek products in one. So I'll put on my bronzer on the cheeks and eyes if you'd like. Then your blush on the cheeks from like the fattest part of your cheek outwards towards your temple. Then highlighter on the high points of your face if you'd like, and your eyes if that's your business. Lots and lots and lots of setting spray to finish. Just go to town. A couple of plus signs, a couple of X signs. Feel it out, have a good time, and fan yourself off, right? Did that make sense to everybody? Or was that too discombobulated? Remember, you're going to be able to follow along with this later on, and Miss Jasmine is amazing, so she can just give you guys all the steps. Yay, awesome, 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 awesome. All right, so remember you guys, once we're finished and everything's all exited out. Oh, Maria, you're from Canada, how nice. Once we're all finished, you guys are going to be sent a link in your email to try from this list of products that I've used, to try 1 to 3 products, have your free 14-day risk-free trial, okay? All you got to do is pay your shipping, and if you don't love it, no problem. You can send it right back, okay? Yes, Marjorie, part of the oily squad. Well, we got you set. Once you try this out, tell me how it works on Instagram, okay? Thank you, Leslie, for the birthday wishes. All right, guys, I'm about to log off. It was wonderful having all of you and chatting with everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. I hope this helps you out so much. Tag me in the pictures of your notes, please, because that makes me so happy. And tag me in your looks. Tag Il Makiage in your looks for sure. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope this was helpful. All right, guys, remember to subscribe to their YouTube channel so you can see when we upload our videos and you can watch me again and follow along. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys later. Bye.